Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Just Roll It Already podcast. And today we are doing the game talk. And by the way, I'm Daryl.
And I'm John.
I'm Sean.
And today we are doing Maintaining Focus.
Maintaining focus.
Which we haven't been doing very well today.
And no, we haven't. We've been all over the place. A little ADD on a few episodes. But we thought about this and we were talking about a very few topics. And this one came up to us. And we thought, that's the big problem about campaigns. Just keeping focused in a game, and there's a lot of different ones that could distract. I mean, in game and out of game. So I guess we'll focus on the in game first. So, John, what do you think about the first aspect of like in game? Is there anything you want to shoot us out for us to discuss?
You mean like actually in the game, things that keep you from the goal?
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, there shouldn't be a lot of it. If there is a lot of distraction and people are kind of like not grouping, there's probably a reason. And the reason is generally on the DM side, because they haven't either created a environment that I want to say forces them together, but an environment that encourages cooperation, encourages them to work together. You got to give them a scenario that's like, we have to work together, otherwise...
Yeah, that's what I usually do in the beginning of my games. It's always like that. And the focus of the game depends on everyone else. I mean, a good example, okay, not an Ark and Jeremiah or anything, but the game that he did in Phrygia, the first one we all played in. Mm-hmm. Except Sean. He wasn't there. Sorry, Sean. We missed you.
Don't even worry about it.
Now, that game, we had no reason to be together whatsoever, other than the fact of the commonality of money.
And we all started in a tavern.
We all started in a tavern, but there's nothing wrong with that.
We followed an old man.
But everything was random, and I think he was trying to go for a more organic feel, but the problem was because of that style game, it was hard for us to focus, and everyone wanted to be in charge or doing something. And just the simplest act of opening the damn door took 2 hours.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
Everyone wanted to do something. Everyone wanted to be the center of attention, but everyone wouldn't focus on the story.
Yeah, there's a reason for instance, when we came to Avarice, the demon of greed, when everyone else went in, I stayed outside. Why? Because it was going to take forever.
And also, he didn't have a waffle iron.
Well, he didn't have a waffle iron, so I'm like, nope, nix that shit. Nope.
Okay, but he puts that stuff out there, and there's such thing as too random. He made his game way too random.
I wouldn't say too random. Like, okay, the first game, yes, too random. But this current game, which he has started his new game, it's actually he's got it down to just charts, and everything else he keeps to his script, he keeps to his guns, and it takes the players to where they want to be in the end, because that's really what it's about when you're DMing. You want to lead the players to where they want to be.
Yeah, but then there's sometimes, what if the game master is being really good at reining people in and doing everything, but the people just keep on wanting to do stupid stuff?
That they're called outliers. This is like a back to 3.0 like. And if you read the first few sections of 3.5's original DMG, it talks about outliers. Outliers are people who just do wacky stuff for no reason. They build a character that is completely combat ineffective simply because they want to make him a character. It's
a comedy character.
It's called an outlier. It's not necessarily comedy. He just does something stupid.
It's a troll.
Yeah, he's a troll. He's like, I juggle. It's like, well, you're a fighter. Yeah, I put all my stats in dex because I juggle. It's like, really? That's what you're going to
do? Wow. How about you, Sean? What do you think?
Well, I remember this one game that actually we were all in. It was about a year ago. We were Kylie was the DM. It was the beginning of a 3-parter. We were on the first part of it. And the entire idea was we spent like 2 5-hour sessions based around just selling stuff, going from town to town, just selling stuff for like an hour on end, each city and everything. And it just got so repetitive, and we just completely went off topic of what we were supposed to do in the game. That was fight the Elf King.
Yeah, you gotta streamline that.
I remember that too, and that was. There was a point to that, but it was again. It's up to the game master. Kylie likes to take way too many like descriptions. He makes too much drama. He makes too much emphasis on character, and I'm gonna be honest, he's trying to be me as a game master, but he's failing because he doesn't understand where to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, I give a description, I do it, I send you guys on your merry little way. How you deal with the situation is up to you. I don't care. I mean, if you guys want to make a complex trap, go ahead. If you want to just sit there and wait and gank the guy in a dark alleyway, go ahead. If you want to snipe him and hire a hitman, go ahead.
If you want to keep people from getting in that repetitive motion of having to like reroll, how many days is it going to take for this trade? It's like, what price are you going to get? The way I do it is if you can do it once, you can do it as many times as you want.
Yeah, but
You can do it once, you can do it 100 times.
yeah, but focusing on the game is the problem because we can't focus on the game when there's so many things that go on. It's trying to focus on a TV screen in a strobe light. Like there's
Yeah.
a bunch of them everywhere, and you can't focus because the flashing lights are driving you crazy, and you got to focus on it.
Sometimes you got to remember what is the game. Because sometimes the game isn't necessarily kick in the door, loot the room, kill the bad guys. Sometimes it's more elegant than that. And again, it goes to, you see, as a DM, you got to lead your players where they want to be. You put the challenges there to satisfy them.
Yeah. Well, also maybe let's say for example we are doing a sword and sorcery game, but we decided let's kind of avoid the route of the hack and slash. Let's do a social game like the Battle of Politics, warfare that does not kill you, it destroys you, and which is worse. And you can't do anything. Well, guess what? Maybe people start getting frustrated and they say, you know what? I don't care about the social or even the legal repercussions of my actions, even moral. I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill this guy. I'm going to eliminate all my opponents through murder. Well, guess what? You lost a lot. You just destroyed a lot of things, and also you made yourself an enemy in a lot of people's eyes. Also, rumors. You destroy yourself.
Right, but again, it's all coming back to the focus. The focus has to be on the players to start with. And then you keep your focus on the players as a DM, and the players keep a focus on you, and we'll get to that in a minute. But you got to focus on the players and satisfying them, so you build your game around them, not the other way around.
So the player's focusing and the game master's focus.
Right.
But those are kind of a symbiotic thing going on. But then again, could be you have the wrong kind of group. You're either playing in the wrong kind of group, or you are the game master, or you got the wrong kind of game master.
Well, yeah, it is the wrong match. That's simply it. It comes down to the DM or the GM is a quiz master. He is the inquisitor. He asks the questions. He does the trivia. The people answer. That's how it's set up.
Yeah.
You give them a challenge. They meet the challenge or they fail at the challenge.
Well, there's even making a game. I like story in my games, but sometimes a straightforward answer is needed.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you're trying to the vampire hunting game we did years ago.
Right.
All right, you guys had to convince a bunch of political figures to let you guys into the whole thing. Okay, how you guys did it, I left it up to you. But you guys found a way out that was pretty straightforward. You trick them.
Yep.
Okay, and then after tricking them, that thinking that there's a vampire threat immediately in the vicinity, they panicked, and then you were allowed to. But that's your guys being crafty and thinking. But it could have easily went south. All right, Big Rudy was in that game, and he could just went right up and start harassing the people, these dangerous people. Some of them very dangerous, some of them very powerful, and then it would have all fell apart because he wanted to do something funny.
Yeah, but he was actually the one that did the crafty trick.
I thought it was you.
He used the illusion.
Oh.
He thought of the illusion. Anyway.
But things could go bad quickly. But
Right.
keeping people engaged and focused on that is the one thing. But if you put them into too loose of a free roam, they'll lose attention quite quickly. Like the Phrygia game and Jeremiah's. 5 sessions in, I took a step back after the game saying, what are we doing again?
Yeah. You never end up where you think you are. It's kind of
No.
like life.
But every single session, we were doing a different quest. It was like ADD on coffee. We could not focus.
Coffee and crack. Don't do crack, kids.
Yeah, but do coffee. It's good for you.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, enough talking about John's recreational
How we talk about player focus. Player focus.
Player
Players
focus?
staying focused on what's in front of them.
Yeah.
Staying focused on the game.
Yeah, and meaning out of the game. Like phones and laptops and...
Sometimes those things are necessary. So how
Music.
do you draw the line?
Pizza. Speaking of which, last game I was in with Kylie, saying it was a part 2 of that RP I was talking about before. We decided to take 3 hours off to order pizza in the middle of the game, and we never were able to get back into the game. So we started at 6, and we ended at like 9. Because
Yeah,
we were
you
all
get that
too tired
prior.
from it.
You get pizza prior. You don't do it mid-game.
You get everything prepared beforehand. Even the whole... Okay, food, yeah. If you guys have food at your table, good for you. But usually when I do games, I run a game for a while, take a break in the halfway point, saying, food, drinks, runs, anybody? And they say yes, yay or nay. I mean,
Yeah, but it's no more than 30 minutes.
never more.
Never more.
Yeah,
30
I
minutes.
never let it go past 30 minutes because I everyone, I say, okay, half hour, let's go. And I let a little 15-minute buff time for you guys to kind of talk out what your conversations are left over, or even what I want to leave out. Because the food, I like food while gaming. It's pretty fun to do as a social thing. I mean, we buy, each of us pitch in for pizzas. We get 3 large pizzas of various different kinds, and we all eat them at the table.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a social thing.
And you can eat while gaming. So if you stop gaming while eating, there's an issue.
Yeah, and then there's also the whole technology thing. Okay, some of our friends would bring technology. Okay, I was in a group, again, He Should Not Be Game kind of group, because he was in it, and he had a nasty habit of doing this, and he would play the game, but he wouldn't play the game. He would sit on his laptop and have his phone next to him, and he would play World of Warcraft just the whole time, just World of Warcraft. He didn't care. He was leveling up his stupid Shadow Mage or his whatever Tauren or whatever. Okay.
Can you even WoWs? Can you even? Anyway.
Yeah, and we were sitting there, and he would just go and play and play and play, and then the game master is going on and on and on, and he's not paying attention.
And he's like, what at the end of it?
Yeah, he's like, what at the end of it? Or he says, I do this, and then he goes back to his game. Well, why are you even there?
I mean, can we really blame the player as it is? I mean, as it stands, the whole entire idea of a DM is to create a entertaining story, and if he can't even pay enough attention, if the player himself can't even pay enough attention to the story because it's boring or just not enough content happening for him as the player, then
Well, here's the thing: you can't have now back to focus. You can't have every player constantly staring at the DM all the time.
No,
because it's not always their turn.
Well, of course, it's just you got to create an engaging experience.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
One of the biggest points of boredom is if there's not an engaging experience, then you don't even want to be a part of it. You can find something else to do.
It's kind of like the whole long spans of hours of Kylie's games focusing on one individual as I'm sitting there for 2.5 hours waiting, saying, what do I do? Because I'm here and I got better things I can do.
No, we were just bringing the hammer of dawn down on that guy.
Oh, yeah.
No, but you're in my game. You know exactly how I deal with. If it's getting too slow for me, I'll go around immediately. What is everybody doing?
Yeah, and I do that too. The group of people, there's a dead spot. What do you do? I do this. Okay, mate. Good. Then I go to you. What do you do this? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you want to do? You guys want to work together? Okay, good. You guys are a group. What do you guys do? You guys want to work together? Group. Okay, you guys meet in the cross.
It gets you back into a flow. It kicks up the pace again.
Yeah, but keeping people focused as a game master is what you do. But also, say keeping focus as a player. Okay, maintaining focus as a group as players, because it's not just. I think it's not just. I used to believe the game master is the one who has to make sure everything is ran. He's the referee and everything. But I look back at it now. Ever since Jeremiah's game, that I sat there and I threw down the gauntlet, I slammed down the gavel and everything, and I said, "Okay, here to eat court. I'm the player, and this is what's going to happen." I think now, as gamers, we have all a social responsibility and a kind of a mutual agreement that we all need to do this as we're a group and we all got to maintain focus.
Yeah, it's a group effort.
Yeah, it's a group effort.
Definitely to make it entertaining. It's a group effort to make the game itself entertaining.
Yeah,
or respect of the DM, are you saying?
Well, no. I'm talking about as a player is just has many responsibilities to maintain focus and the game flowing as much as the game master. Because the game master is not the only one who has to keep the game going. He's just telling you a story and you guys react to the scenario and do what you think is best, and he gives you out the answers.
Yeah, especially if a player has a very maudlin way of responding, saying, I roll to attack, I attack the ooze, I roll, it's a 13 plus my 9 modifier, 21 to hit, and that sort of thing. Very maudlin tone. It's not exactly engaging the other players in this is maybe a battle. It's like, all right, I slash the ooze, you roll. Saying I slash at the ooze is a little bit different than saying I roll to hit.
It's like saying
less mechanical. It's strange enough for me to say that. It's less mechanical.
Okay,
you don't want to be like a robot.
Yeah, for example, I could say Sean, as the dark figure comes forward at you with a blood-soaked dagger from the falling after pulling out of John's corpse, he comes at you and he raises his knife to swing at you, and I roll the dice behind a curtain, and he says, and as he's swinging,
then I rise from the dead and
he swings
eat out his Achilles tendon.
Yeah, he swings down and his arm gets caught in one of the wires that he strangled Kylie's character with, and he's trying to go at you with his big knife. What do you do, Sean?
No, that was the wire I used to strangle Kylie's character.
Oh, okay, sorry. I forgot about that.
Wait, is he going after... He's going after Kylie?
No, he's going after you. John killed Kylie because he thought he was a killer, but the killer really came out of the closet and
it turns out that the killer is actually Kylie's boyfriend.
Yeah, Kylie's boyfriend, because in this game he
That's why
is.
he murdered me.
Yeah.
And I rose from the dead because I'm a juggalo like that.
Yeah. And also you apparently had the talisman of never death. But
No, I'm a juggalo, so it just made me laugh.
weirdo.
Oh, ICP. You gotta.
Speaking of not paying attention,
It's not not paying
I'm trying to
attention.
remember the name of this topic so I could yell it out, but whatever. Just have your fun. Have your fun.
Mechanics versus dramatics.
There we
No,
go.
it's
that's
not.
not what it is. That's what we were originally going to do. Now we are doing focus.
focus. Yeah, game focus, which we are failing right now.
We just
We dropped the ball. But that's to show you how games usually go.
Yeah, well, at least we didn't drop the soap.
Oh, funny.
Haha. Okay, that's my last disruptive thing. I think games all in general are ADD in a way.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Because they have to be able to please many people's want for entertainment at the same time.
Yeah.
So you gotta, basically it's like finding the pizza that everybody in the room likes.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. You gotta find the pizza in the room that everyone likes.
Nobody
like
likes.
3/4 of it's like thick, it's like pan crust, and then a weird 1/4 of it's like thin crust. How do you get that? How do you do that? You baffle the pizza guys. It was like, no, I wanted 1/4 of this pizza thin crust. We can't do that. It's like, well, too bad. I don't want it that way. That's essentially what's going on.
I'm sure they probably would have took a thick crust pizza
Oh,
and
yeah,
like
cut
spliced
out yes.
and spliced it in there.
Crafted on there like some mad scientist.
Yes, I can just imagine John in the kitchen. It's alive! Oh, it tastes amazing. Best of two worlds right here. I got like right on the margin.
Anyway, so yeah, that's essentially the pizza that everyone has to agree upon in the room.
Yeah, but
That's what the DM is preparing.
you can't eat a game, which is a horrible thing.
Eating the game or not being able to.
Not being able to.
All right, so
I like to piss him off like this. It's fun.
you drive me nuts sometimes.
Yes, that's my life. That's what happens when you have me as a friend. Okay, so the whole going back onto the main focus. How do you guys think that focus should be dealt with as a player and as well as a game master, and what things should be done? We'll start with Sean because you've been kind of quiet.
Well, as it is, I think that first off, one of the main problems with staying on topic is that people have millions of things to do that they just completely forget about and deal with it in the mid-game. You say you're going to start at 6 o'clock, but then you go to 7, then we actually start at 7 o'clock. You have to have this stuff ready. If you want to start at 7 o'clock, say you want to start at 7 o'clock and have everything ready. If you don't have this stuff ready for the game, then don't start the game. Don't have the game. People can wait. I think my second big thing for it is respect. So far, I mean, I'm new to this, but I think respect of the DM, that's my big thing. I mean, that's how, I mean, maybe it just goes both ways. I'm not really sure yet, but I mean, I think it's just a big part of it. I mean, if you're going to sit around, I mean, they're your friends. You gotta just like, you're trying to help them become better storytellers. You're trying to help them become better gods of their dimension. I mean, it's just being a bit respectable person to your friends. I mean, if they're not your friends, then, just don't be there. But I mean, this is the whole point of RPing. It's hanging out with friends and having a good time. That's what I think.
So, going back to the way you can help the DM and the player stay focused in all respects, I'd have to say that in order to keep it player focused, you need to have an engaging DM. In order to keep a DM focused, you need to have an engaging players.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it is a symbiotic relationship in that way. Also, you need to keep the distractions that disrupt that flow between player and DM. Specifically, it's the connection between player and DM. You can't have things interfere with that.
Yeah.
Because once you do, you've lost your link. You've lost your connection with the player and the DM.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about what I actually do for my successful games and my failure games. I think it probably does mainly focus on either the lack of prior planning from the entire party build down to kind of, hey, stop, turn that laptop off, because I used to have a very strict no laptop rules, and that drove Big Rudy crazy. Every single time he tried to open up, it's like, shut it. But I want to find, shut it. And it would just drive him nuts. He would laugh so hard. I thought you were going to die laughing every single time, because I swear, if he didn't have his laptop open,
Yeah, he was dependent on it. It was his lifeblood, because he was always planning for how his character was going to be, like, 10 levels down the road.
in a one-shot campaign.
And it'd be like a one-shot campaign.
But make sure you set up rules that make things happen as a player and a GM, because, all right, you can talk to the group saying, look, I want this to be a fun game. All of you are kind of making this a little bit unfun to me. I want to be focusing on the game alone. I take time out of my week, my day, my job, whatever, every so often just to come with you guys and play. And if I can't play and all we're doing is telling crass jokes and eating pizza and making all sorts of weird this, that, and the other, then what's the freaking point of me being here, even as a game master?
Yeah.
I walked out of entire groups and they didn't even notice I left.
Yeah, that's a bit disheartening when they don't even realize you've
Yeah,
left.
it's a big blow to your ego. You're like, man, you know what? I spent all this time building this campaign. You know what? I'll just put it in my little folder of later.
I think it was the best way. The most successful campaigns I run are the ones that have me in a constant dialogue with players.
Yeah, dialogue.
You create a dialogue between a player, and they have a conversation with you. You're having a conversation.
The immersion. The immersion of the game.
Yeah.
That's the beauty thing. And that's another thing for you, Sean. What for you want in the run games? Immerse your players in everything. Talk in voice. Give them things to interact with. Keep them focused on the story, not the tavern with the busty wench, the old man in the corner, and the crazy bartender.
Yeah. Don't just read what's on the paper. Talk to them.
Like I want to say this before we've been hitting hard on Kyle this entire thing, but one of the things I really enjoy about his games is that when he does immerse you in his conversation, he doesn't let you roll intimidate checks against a player. He doesn't let you use any kind of conversation rolls. You have to persuade the character if you want to win their trust.
That's something I do too. And yes, you can player versus player, or even bonuses to a situational thing, based on roleplay. Okay, give bonuses based on roleplay. When I was going on a bout in a duel, one time, I think, yeah, you were there. You weren't there, I think. No, wait, yeah, you were there.
That was the one game I actually missed, I think.
Yeah, I think that it was. And he said that I was going to be arrested and I couldn't do this fight. And I made this big, long speech. I cannot recreate it. It was poetic. In character, I convinced that diehard character saying, like, Daryl, you get a bonus +5 to your diplomacy roll just to convince him. And I said, yes.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it's impossible to try and convince another player in the game, and there's a problem. It's because you can't, sometimes it's impossible to try and get a person to understand you in character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they're not thinking in character. They're thinking out of character what they're going to do. And you have no influence on that because to them it's just a character. They're not actually not thinking in character.
Well, it depends on the group because I've been in groups that are all thespians.
Oh, yeah.
The thespian groups are fun, but the problem is they don't know how to do any of the roles. And groups,
Yeah.
I've been in groups that are all number crunchers and dice rollers, and they don't care about role play. They just want to kill. What do we do? Oh, scenario? Okay, thanks for the pamphlet. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of your group to begin with. All right. I think as a group as a whole, like I typically run, I think we have like a 60-40. We're 60% immersed in role play and 40% in the mechanics.
Yeah, definitely. You're talking about your games?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure, yeah.
I like to kind of tickle both.
Yeah, I definitely keep mine more on the mechanics side, but the 30% that is there is me giving 75% of my like communication skill to them.
No, but this is how you can maintain focus, is understanding how your group's percentage, I guess you can say, works. And knowing your group could be a good way to maintain focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any closing thoughts on you guys about this whole thing?
I think we just about wrapped it up.
Yeah, let's wrap up.
Yeah, it is about wrapped up. Okay, anyways, like, comment, subscribe. You can email us or gmail.com. Anything you want to talk about. You know the gig. Anyways, I'm Daryl.
I'm John.
I'm Sean.
And we plug Jeremiah's voice here.